Bro Science Breakdown.
Fun fact: lightweight and high reps will tone your muscles. If you believe this, allow me to debunk that for you. Welcome to Bro Science Breakdown, where I discuss healthy living for my fellow young folks. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Arthur, an early high school grad who struggled with my self-image for a long time. I was eventually able to overcome my struggles, and I might be able to help you with yours as well. So, if you're around 18, then you've come to the right place. In these first 3 episodes, I'll be delving into 3 important facets of health for us younger folks: physical health, mental health, and social health. Well, that was the plan until it became derailed. From now on, I'll be mostly talking about physical health, so please hang on to your seats as you go through this bumpy podcast journey with me. This episode will cover basic stuff about training, like going to failure, rep range, and stuff like that. If you'd like, I can go more in-depth about any topic mentioned in this episode. Just give me the word. Now, there's one thing I'd like to get out of the way before we continue. If you tuned into the previous episode, which I highly suggest listening to by the way, I talked about how important protein is for muscle building. However, I completely forgot to mention how much protein you should be eating. Depending on your activity level, you should be eating between 1.2 to 2 grams of protein per each kilogram of body weight. That roughly translates to about 0.5 grams to 1 gram of protein for each pound of body weight. Remember what I said about toning? There is no such thing. The only 2 defining factors of muscle definition comes from 1, muscle mass, and 2, body fat. Doing higher reps with lower weight just trains the endurance of the muscles without giving a toned look. The toned look some of you may be looking for comes from losing the fat that covers your muscles. In short, achieving a leaner appearance comes from being in a caloric deficit and building muscle from resistance training. With that out of the way, let's discuss something that's been on my mind for a while. On social media, I've seen that there's some debate on how often you should work out. Some people say that going a few times a week is optimal for muscle growth, while others say that training 6 times a week will give you the best gains. However, many people forget that each person has a different training goal and that there isn't a one-size-fits-all approach to fitness. If you're training for endurance, for example, training 4 to 6 times a week with lower intensity seems to be the best way to go at it. Honestly, I think this training style fits best for athletes and fighters. Given the lower intensity, it allows for more training per week. If your goal is strength, which is training about 80 to 90% of your 1 rep max, then your training frequency should be lower. Given the intensity, working out 3 to 4 times a week allows for more recovery between sessions while still growing stronger. And if you're training for hypertrophy, or muscle building in layman terms, 2 to 3 sessions per muscle group per week seems to be the best frequency. Like strength training, this creates a great balance between muscle growth and muscle recovery. Still, each person's body is different, so I suggest testing what frequency works best for you. Not gonna lie, I kinda have a weird training routine. It starts with chest and triceps on Monday, with my main lift being incline bench. Oh man, I love the way incline bench hits my chest, though I'll talk about it more in a later episode. Next is back and biceps on Tuesday, with the main lift being weighted pull-ups. Then comes Wednesday, which is sort of an active rest day. I do mostly ab exercises and cardio for a bit, and then dip. Thursday is arm day, and Friday is leg day. Saturday is bodyweight stuff, where I do a bunch of pull-ups and push-ups, and Sunday is a proper rest day. Not gonna lie, my split seems to be perfect for me. My arms get trained 3 times a week, and my back and chest get trained twice a week, if you count the bodyweight stuff. Don't pay attention to leg day though, it's too damn tiring. Seriously, it's like my legs get killed for 3 days. Now let's move on to how many reps you should be doing. I've seen a lot of people say 8 to 12 is the best, 6 to 8 is the best, and 4 to 6 is the best. Just like training frequency, the amount of reps you should do per set is different based on the lift and what your goals are. If you're training with 80% or above your 1 rep max, then your rep range should be around 3 to 6 reps with around 3 minutes of rest in between each set. Given how heavy you're lifting, the longer rest allows you to optimally prepare yourself for the next set. Mind you, these rep ranges should be for compound movements like lat pull down and bench. There's no real point in training near your 1 rep max for movements like lateral raises and curls. For those exercises, you should be doing 6 to 12 reps with 1 to 2 minutes of rest between sets. Oh, this brings me to my next topic, training to failure. This too is a topic that a lot of people talk about, and I agree with what is said for the most part. However, there are some details I'd like to nitpick. 2 studies that I looked at, both from 2024, show similar results regarding training to failure. They say that despite not having much bearing on strength, it has a key role in hypertrophy. As you train closer to failure, the potential for muscular growth increases in a linear direction. Basically, training to or close to failure means better gains. However, and this is a big however, given how training to failure creates a greater stimulus in the muscles, you should be doing less sets to maximize your gains. Too many sets can lead to overtraining, which makes you extra sore for no reason at all. The sweet spot for me is about 2 to 3 sets for compound movements and 3 to 4 sets for movements like curls and lateral raises. Also, going to failure means going until your form fails and a little beyond, not until you literally cannot pick the weight up anymore. Honestly, this also leads to overtraining and should be avoided in my opinion. Basically, having an insane pump is not a great indicator for muscle growth. Speaking of form, this is another issue I should bring up. Jeff Nippard recently conducted a study comparing the muscle growth between those who lifted with cheat reps versus strict reps, and the results might shock you. Rather than one protocol producing a better muscle growth stimulus than another, both cheat reps and strict reps had an equal ability to build muscle. This challenged the stereotype that strict form is a necessity for hypertrophy, suggesting that a little momentum won't hurt your gains. Using excessively heavy weights and terrible form, though, may lead to pretty bad injuries like a torn bicep. Basically, don't ego lift. You're not Sam Sulek. Also, the use of cheat reps are best when you have a few years of experience in the gym. Nippert suggests for such lifters to use cheat reps and partial reps for some isolation exercises. For example, cutting the bottom part of the rep for lateral raises or not locking out your arms for chest flies. Mind you, this is after having done these exercises with good form, so don't use cheat reps and partial reps for the whole set. Let's move on to the weight you should be pushing. If you don't bench 225, squat 315, and deadlift 405 by 2 years into your training, you're doing something completely wrong. I'm just kidding. The best weight is one that is heavier than the one you lifted a week or two ago. This is the basic idea of progressive overload, or increasing your workload on your muscles each week. It can come in the form of increasing the number of reps you do on an exercise, or increasing the weight you push by 5 pounds. Progressive overload makes sure your body doesn't get used to the stress it's going under at the gym, so that it can continue growing muscle at an optimal rate. While boosting muscle growth, it also helps grow your strength, and it ensures you don't experience a plateau in your training. But what's better, increasing the number of reps you do or incrementally increasing the weight you push? A study published this year provides us with a very concise answer. 39 participants were asked to partake in either protocols, increasing the number of reps or increasing the number of weight, for about 10 weeks. After the 10 weeks was over, there was no significant difference between those who trained with either protocol in terms of strength and muscle mass. However, this still solidifies the fact that the use of progressive overload in your training is beneficial for your strength and muscle mass. You know it's also beneficial for muscle growth and strength? Mixing up your workout every now and then. Bringing in some variation to your exercises is another great tool in your gym arsenal. Generally speaking, your body gets used to doing the same exercises over and over, meaning the amount of gains to be made decreases slowly if you don't incorporate variation. Changing what you do in your workout provides different stress to your muscles, allowing for better growth. Moreover, this change can also prevent injuries due to repetitive stress and can make your workouts more interesting. It's generally recommended to change what you do during your workouts every 4 to 6 weeks. However, for more advanced lifters, this period should be shortened to around 2 to 3 weeks. Given how much weight advanced lifters push, this increased variation is best for the sake of hypertrophy and reducing the chances of being injured. Injury prevention isn't only for advanced lifters, though. Varying what you work on every now and then isn't the only way to prevent getting hurt while working out. One of the best ways to prevent an injury is to get lifting straps. Some people may recommend them for only movements like lat pull-downs or bench press, though I suggest using them for even isolation exercises if you see it necessary. I sometimes experience wrist pain when doing curls, so I use them to prevent my wrists getting injured. They usually go for about $10 on Amazon, and have allowed me to prevent stupid wrist pain. Wrist straps have also allowed me to bench more on incline, which is a nice plus. Having good form is also a good way of preventing possible injury. I quickly mentioned it earlier, though I'll discuss it more in depth now. For example, if you're deadlifting or squatting and have your spine curled, there's a small but not negligible chance that you'll slip a disc in your spine or injure your lower back muscles. Using weights that are too heavy can also lead to a pretty gnarly injury. For example, if you're trying to curl 100 pounds on a preacher curls, when you can only do 75, you'll have a chance to tear a bicep. Or in any case, you'll overtrain your muscles at the very least. Even if the injuries don't happen immediately, you can develop cumulative trauma over time if you repeatedly use improper form. And then there's warming up. Some people skip warm-ups and go for their main lifts at once, though I discourage that mindset. Warming up your body can come in a lot of forms. For instance, there are some that go for a light cardio warm-up to get the blood flowing. I personally avoid cardio until the end of my workout, as that tends to tire me out early, and I'd rather warm up the muscles with a warm-up set. I should change my warm-up set to warm-up sets for my next workout, as there's a study showing that it's better to have several warm-up sets. A study published in the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research found that several warm-up sets contribute to better performance for compound movements over just one warm-up set. I guess this shows that research for the show can be helpful for not only you, but also me. Finally, let's discuss one of the most important parts of working out, which is ironically not working out. Rest days are essential for your body so that it can recover properly. Given how exercise creates micro tears in your muscles, a rest day allows for your muscles to repair themselves. This, generally speaking, leads to more muscle growth in the long run. Plus, during exercise, your body depletes itself of glycogen, which is a form of glucose used by your body for energy. Rest days allows your body to replenish its supply of glycogen, which is essential for having enough energy for future workouts. They also help with injury prevention and might prevent you from feeling burnt out. The last one is pretty critical in my opinion, as burnout might deter people from being consistent. Oh, consistency. This is a theme that I'll be bringing up a lot from here on out, so heads up for that in future episodes. These are all great ways of maximizing your gains, though it'll all crumble if you're not consistent with it. No pressure, of course. To new gym goers, a 2025 study has some great advice for you. It analyzed the consistency of gym goers and found that new gym goers who exercise 4 times a week for at least 6 weeks were more successful in creating a gym-going habit. Forget winter arc, which is bullcrap anyway. Forget motivation, forget enthusiasm. Just create a solid schedule for yourself and stick to it. If you can't make it one day, don't sweat it. If you're sick for a week, don't worry about it. Just work out as if you haven't left. Well, that's what I do at least, and that's been keeping me in the gym for the most part. Thanks for listening all the way through. It means a lot. You can find me on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Please like, subscribe, comment, whatever to boost engagement, as that really helps the show. In the next episode, I'll be discussing the best exercises for each muscle group. This is Arthur, signing off.